Hi, I am Julia, and this is my demonstration speech. Has everyone here ever received a thank you note?
Yes.
Did you appreciate it?
Yes.
All right, very good. I'm going to be talking about the importance of thank you notes and how to add a personal touch to them today. According to a CNBC article, they record that according to a survey from Top Resume, 68% of employers say that receiving a thank you note after an interview affected their decision-making process. Most recruiters and hiring managers expect a thank you note from an interviewee. This startling statistic shows the importance of a handwritten thank you note and how it really could impact your life. And while some acknowledge that a thank you note is important, they ask what's wrong with sending a text or an email. Well, thank you notes, handwritten ones, are much more personal, and they're even more important in this digital age because it's so rare. And it also shows that the person is providing more effort into thanking them than just sending a text or telling Siri to do so. The Emily Post Institute, which has held the standard for etiquette since 1922, Emily Post had an etiquette column, and she wrote numerous books, and her family carry on her legacy. And they record for the modern times that handwritten notes are warmer and more special than other forms of thank yous. The rule of thumb is that you should send a written note anytime you receive a gift. So whether you're trying to land a new job or politely address a gift, handwritten notes are key. But now that we know they're so important, how do we go about starting this new habit, or what is the proper way to continue possibly an old habit? Emily Post Institute again says that you should use note cards or stationery that reflect your personality. Wax seals have been around since the Old Testament. Wax seals add personal and proper charm to your stationery. This is mine. It has my initials on it. On a wax seal, the bottom is metal and the handle is wood. When you order yours, you can choose the color of your wood. You can choose if you want 2 initials, 3 initials, 1 initial. You can also choose the border, whatever you want. So it's obviously a very clear way to add personality to your cards. They're the perfect way to add class and personality. So in this speech, I will show you how to melt wax and seal paper with it so that you can hopefully add this special touch to your cards. So the first thing you're going to want to do is, if you're doing an envelope, which you can also do it on the end of letters, but if you're doing an envelope, you're first going to want to glue down your envelope. The reason for doing this is so that it first stays down when you add your seal, and secondly, if you're mailing it, it does not come open in the mail and you're not just relying on the seal to keep your letter closed. The next thing you're going to do is take your seal and you're going to place it wherever you want it on your envelope, and you're just going to lightly trace it with your pencil. And as your glue dries, you're going to want to light your candle. I use a candle instead of directly using a match or lighter because I think it's easier to relight it. I use modern wax with a wick, but you don't have to. So you're especially going to need a candle if you have wickless wax, but I think the wick is just easier. You want to make sure that you do not burn your wax because that makes a gigantic mess. If you do, you will immediately know it because it's basically the equivalent of like burning a marshmallow. It will immediately catch flame and just roast like a marshmallow. The reason we have this traced is so that you can easily know how much wax you need to apply to your letter, and it also just clearly gives you the shape. If you're more experienced, you won't need to do this, but I find it easier. Then you blow out your wax. You want to line up your seal appropriately, stamp it down. You're going to let it rest for a few minutes just to let it dry. Fun fact, the wax seal for the United States was first made by Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and John Adams immediately after signing the Declaration of Independence. The reason that we don't have original ones is because it was practice to destroy an owner's seal once they died. I got this from Nostalgic Impressions. They send you directions and all the reasons of why to do it and history of the seal when you order a seal. This is where I got mine, but you can also get them other places. They're also really the only credible source that I found on how to do this and why we do this, just because it is sort of a rare thing. So now you would just want to take your seal off, and you can see this is what it looks like. Pretty cool. Clearly it's very personal and you know that it has come from me. So now that you know how to do it, it's pretty simple. I hope that you are inspired to go get your own and to continue this art, and hopefully you will see the importance of adding this personal touch to your stationery. Again, you can get them at nostalgicimpressions.com, and there's also other local places that will make them for you. This is kind of the larger company. They've been around since 1945. Thank you for listening to my speech.